Scene,
a talk show where we dish out real conversations
with real people
about real life.
So, sit at our buffet and chew with us.
Hey, hey.
Hello.
Another
How are
week.
you?
I'm good. Another week in our houses.
Yes. What is this, week 25?
Oh my God, it feels like it. I don't even know. I think it's weeks. We're heading into week 7 of the week 7, I think.
Yeah.
Of week 7. And
yeah, I've been working from home. This is week 6. No. 5?
maybe. Because
Maybe.
I was, because I
Week
was
7 starts next week, right?
Yes, week 7 starts next week.
So yeah, this is week 5 of me working from home. So
yeah, I was on a film, remember, that shut down. So I didn't start quarantining until, a little bit after that. But I don't know. I haven't left the house in 6 weeks. I mean, I go outside for a run for like an hour if the weather permits. But basically, I'm in my house. It feels, and you know what? It feels weird to be complacent like this. But what am I going to do, I mean, where am I going to go? I mean, honestly, where am I going? No one needs me. I'm not essential.
now, are you wearing a mask as you're running? Do you wear a mask when you run?
You know what? I don't wear it. And that's actually, the rules are a little confusing. I don't wear it, but my mask is one of those that you pull up. So I do wear it around my neck, just in case. But I'll tell you, if I'm running and someone comes towards me, I'm like running to the next town over. I mean, because I don't know. And now there's I don't know if you saw, I posted, there's this thing called COVID toe, which is my nephew has it now. He's gonna be fine, but it's basically, my nephew's feet look like someone took a hammer and bashed them. They're very black and blue. And they think that that's how it maybe manifests in in children. So
and how do you wait, so he has COVID-19, and that's,
well, it's like, I don't want to say that because we don't know, and I don't want to like spread misinformation. He has COVID toe. Okay. So they don't know, like it's basically like thrush or like a rash that you have in your feet. So it's like it's bizarre.
And how would you get that though? Being barefoot?
No, I just think that's just how it manifests in young people.
Symptom kind of thing.
It's just like a symptom, just like a symptom type thing. So it's
been it's crazy. I mean, like when I walk my dog, I don't have a mask, but I'm usually just going like around the block, and it's like my neighborhood. And but if I see somebody like walking on the same side, I cross the street.
Yeah, I do too. It's like I'm like, I hope they don't think. I mean, they obviously don't.
They can't think that.
I mean, they're living under a rock.
I'm just curious to know, like, once we go back, how does this affect like the human connection kind of thing? Are we just going to be like, oh, there's a person, hi, and walk away?
I know, I posted that. So yeah, just trying to like stay normal. So last night, this is so funny. So I went live on Facebook and I didn't realize it because I wanted to make sure that my new laptop was set up for the interview today.
I was watching.
Oh, I know. Can I tell you, my friend Scott called me. He's like, girl, what's happening? Because I guess I didn't know I was on.
I thought you did.
I was like, am I on? He goes, Lauren, are you drunk? There, you are on Facebook Live right now, and you have 12 people watching you. That's the biggest thrill of my week, doing nothing on Facebook, and I have 12 viewers. Who knew? That's so crazy.
Can we just talk about something you posted yesterday about not wanting to eat? And I just was fascinated by this post because I was like, girl, I feel like all you want to do during these times is snack, and it's a challenge. So I'm kind of like, you have a gift. You have a special gift.
I have a gift called anxiety.
But what about those that have anxiety and they're eating their feelings?
Yeah, you know what? I really honestly just think it's like Nicole said, I'm literally cooking so much. and I normally cook anyway. I mean, you know this about me,
Yeah.
that I am a person, I'm gonna raise this up a little bit, a person that does like to cook, but I am legit like 1950s Donna Reed, cooking a meal, sometimes 2 meals a day. And I just think, I don't know what it is. And, we'll talk more about the food thing in a little bit, but I just have to force myself to eat. I'm like, I need to eat now. I need to eat now. And I'm not even drinking enough water. But the funny thing is I don't feel anxiety. So I'm wondering if I don't have that like butterfly feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if this is a manifestation of, or maybe I feel like I'm on like house arrest. I don't know. It's weird.
It's a good, hey, I like I said, I'm jealous. But I gotta say though, like, I feel like whenever like I gain weight, I see it in my face kind of thing. And I haven't been shaving. So, and when you don't shave, it just makes your face look even bigger, I feel. So when I shaved today, I was like, oh, I feel like it's not, it feels smaller.
So
I feel like I should be shaving.
Do I need to shave? Do I need to shave, Danny?
No, let me see. Get real close.
So I'm not really eating. I'm baking a loaf of bread like every other day. I've been really working. I'm doing some, I'm taking a fashion course at MoMA online. Ooh. So I'm doing a fashion design class, and I've actually been working on some art. I have a friend, Facebook friend in Oklahoma, who's an art teacher. So he was posting some tutorial videos, and I've been starting to sketch. Trust me, I'm not trying to be an artist, but it's kind of, I'm trying to do more tactile things, and I'm trying to tap into.
I told you I'm doing the crafts.
Yeah, you're doing the painting, the diamond painting.
Yeah, I'm doing like crafty little things, and I feel like it needs to be more tactile, less Zoom related. I don't know if you saw that post that I had shared about Zoom fatigue, and I believe it's true. I think that we're so tired because it takes such effort. I mean, like, for example, like, I was like, I have to go comb my hair. I mean, it's just awful to say because I feel like that's what we should be doing every day,
I try to, but it's hard. It's hard when you have no place to go. So Wednesdays I teach, Wednesdays I coach. So I have private students. And then Tuesdays I'm still teaching at MPAC, but that's gonna be over soon. So it kind of gives me a reason to like put on a little bit of makeup. Today I do, but I've been enjoying no makeup. I'm not wearing antiperspirant right now, and I don't smell. I swear to God, I don't smell.
You know what? I don't either. I mean, it's just also because I'm not like moving.
I mean, I'm moving, I'm running, but I'm not like as physical as when I'm in rehearsal or doing choreography. Don't worry, other people out there, I will figure out a way to stay dry.
Yesterday it was my friend's birthday, and her sister threw her a surprise virtual happy hour on Zoom.
Oh, that's fine.
And I created a virtual background with all pictures of her.
Right.
And everyone was like, oh my God, how did you do that? That's amazing. And I was like, well, I mean, they told us we can make a sign. And I was like, I'm not going to make a sign, but I'll make a virtual background. And, got on the Photoshop and just put something together. And it was fun. I drank champagne the whole time.
Oh, big news. I broke 100 followers on YouTube, over 100 followers. So YouTube sent me a really lovely celebratory email. I'll take what I can get these days, okay? That's it.
Did you print it out and frame it?
I should print it out and be like, but I want to eventually do more on YouTube. I'm going to try, I'm definitely also tapping into a lot of electronic digital things that I've been, I think, we all get lazy about it, but now that we're forced to do it. But enough about us.
Because we have a busy show.
And we were trying to figure out for a long time, how are we going to do these interviews? We're still working on streaming live from Homegrown. We're working on getting a home studio for me here. I just got a new laptop and a lot of new software and stuff. But I didn't want to miss out on talking to people, especially I like talking to creative people because I love to talk to them about what they were doing before the lockdown, and now what are you doing? To kind of keep those creative wheels spinning. So I'm very excited to bring to our Facebook Live, our Chew the Quarantine Zoom room, Drew McVety and Raymond Bokhour. So they're gonna put it right there. Oh,
There
I love it.
Oh, look at that. Yes.
We're together.
Magic.
We're together,
So good.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you
Our
for
pleasure.
joining us.
Well, I can't speak for Drew, but it's my pleasure.
So Drew and I go way back. Drew and I have known him for 10 years. I think it's literally been 10 years. And I met Drew. It's been 10 years.
My mind is blown on
I
that.
know. It's so crazy because I remember Shaw was so little. And we met when you were gardening, and I bought some, I will never forget this, Swiss chard. I actually came to the city. I was in a rehearsal. We were like, I was giving you money for Swiss chard, like on the side of like outside the stage door, like, don't watch us. We're just like, and then you've cooked for us. I've seen you in so many shows, and you're definitely a favorite. You're one of my favorite people in the entire world. I love your posts. I love everything you do. Raymond,
and this is actually his second time on To the Scene. But actually, this is my first time getting to chat with him because the last time I couldn't be in the studio. So.
Oh, that's great. You're right, Danny. That was before we recorded. And Raymond, I had the luxury of seeing this summer as one Amos Hart in Chicago on Broadway. And I have to tell you, Raymond, I saw the original cast, and I was literally like a little weepy when you sang Mr. Cellophane, because I felt that you really encapsulated all the human elements of that character, and it wasn't like showboaty, like this is my big number, but you sold the number to me in such a way. I was like, oh, like my heart sank, and I was rooting for you the whole time, and it was fun seeing it so many years later.
Yeah, that show you get a chance to dip in every few years, and it's still around, and it's still vibrant and alive. Unfortunately, it's still relevant. I wish it wasn't. People getting away with murder just by lying, but it's kind of universal in that sense. And the production itself, the design elements are universal. It can keep going forever, I think, artistically, and everybody loves it, so they keep coming. So hopefully it'll bounce back stronger than ever after this. But the part is well written, so I get to. I know I can't take credit for everything you're saying, but thank you.
No, you were wonderful. And Drew, I've seen, oh my gosh, I think the last thing I saw you in was Bandstand, and you were dancing, and that was such a fun show. And we were front row, so I'm pretty sure you probably saw me too.
I think I remember that. I forgot about the Swiss chard, but I do. It's all coming back now.
It was then. Sometimes we forget about Swiss chard. What can you do?
Well, that was
so, guys. I brought you on because of your new musical. You had a solid, sold out 2 shows at 54 Below, and I'm going to forget the name right now. Oh my gosh! Yes, the glorious death of Comrade. What's his name? Oh my gosh! So I want to know who's the brainchild behind this wonderful project.
He's playing himself, but it started a few years ago. It's based on a play that was written in 1928 in the Soviet Union, a wild, farcical, just romp. You can't quite put those two ideas together, a 1928 Soviet farce, but here we are. It was very popular, but not with Stalin, who banned it and put the writer in hard labor for 20 years. But it found its way out eventually, and I first encountered the play back in 93, 94, 1993, 94. And I then met years later, I met my composition partner. I'm the lyricist of that show, and Simon Gray writes music, and so we were working together, and I brought him this this piece. And I said, what can we do? And we dove in, and we never got tired of it. And we brought in our librettist friend, David Bridell. So I guess you could say that, you know, the story was born a long time ago, but we kind of brought it out of the shadows and musicalized it, which it's never had a musicalized treatment.
So how did the two of you connect on this? I mean, have you worked together before? Talk a little bit about that, Drew.
Ray and I had come into contact through other readings in New York. I remember we did something up at Juilliard one day about an opera singer in Newark. I forget what that piece was, but it was when I was doing SPAMALOT. So it must have been back in like 2006. That's about when we must have met, I think, but we also met.
That was my very ferocious tiny dog.
Nice one.
Sorry about that.
We'd met previously because I knew Ray's wife. We'd been on tour together during Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which was 2000. No, that would have been after that. So we did meet once before. Anyway, we've known each other.
Yeah, no, we definitely did that reading together. And I remember thinking, oh, right. I had seen you in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with the French accent. And in the reading, you were doing a different accent. And I thought, oh, he's an accent guy. He's going to work a lot.
Like span of 4 years where I played nothing but French people between SPAMALOT, Rotten Scoundrels, and Sunday in the Park with George, and Lone Star Love. They were all French characters.
God.
Oh wait, can you wait? I don't want to interrupt you, but can you give me? I'm like the worst with accents. Can you throw a little French at me for us?
Absolutely terrible French accents. They were all
yeah, they're kind of theater comedy French accents.
Exactly.
So sorry to interrupt.
But it was super fun. And then you asked me to do the reading of it, what, like 2010?
It was quite some time ago, actually. It was in the early stages, had a different title and everything, and Drew was fantastic, and he just kept playing the role ever since. But then there was a lapse during which nothing much had happened with the piece. And Drew called me and he said, what's going on? Why aren't we doing this piece? And I said, well, you know, what do you want? What have you got in mind? And we started meeting, and we essentially decided to produce it ourselves and get it out there. And Drew's sheer grit and genius and the fact that everybody in the industry loves him meant that all of a sudden we kind of had a new lease on life. And you know, the creators got together and kind of zipped it up a little bit and carried on with creating it. And
right.
So Drew really resuscitated us just from a plateau where we had started working on other projects, and then the times changed as well. I think that was a big thing.
Yeah, and the truth is you do a lot of readings when you do what we do. You just do a million of them, but it's very rare that you come across a piece that is great and ready to go, and there isn't any reason it shouldn't be being done anywhere. And then I've come to learn that when you come across those pieces, then make sure that they get done. And Ray and I have kind of joined in that thought process. And now we have several plays that we're producing together because we discovered that through the time that we've been involved with Broadway and everything else, we do know everybody and we do know how to put plays together. And we are able to not only produce great material, but recognize when great material is out there that should be done. And it's a mammoth Sisyphean undertaking, but we are getting people on our side and getting momentum on these pieces. So it's been a lot of fun. I think we're right about it.
Yeah, when you find that pocket, right? It's pretty exciting. So you had a sold out run at 54 Below in January, was it?
One was in late January, I think, and one was in early March. So
yes. And my goal, I was really, and like I do go in, Danny and I go in a lot and we go to see stuff, but it was almost like, it was interesting because I was going to come in and see it because I was like, I really want to see it. I want to hear it and I want to know, because I will say the marketing was brilliant. The movies, the trailers, even, you know, the logo with the funny sayings. I mean, every time Drew posted something, I always clicked on it. But it was, yeah, right before we kind of went into this weird universe we're living in now. So, which is, I know my girlfriend and I, we talk every couple days, and every couple days we're like, hey, can you believe that we're living through this? She's like, just if I haven't said it again, it's like, it's so bizarre. So now, I don't think your piece, I wouldn't say is in its infancy. I think it's maybe in its like adolescence, because it's growing now. So you've had 2 solid sold out performances, a lot of support behind this. What are you doing now on the back end? Because obviously assembly is closed and we don't know when that's gonna open again. So right. Are you guys still working on this behind the scenes? Are you like, how does that work with a new piece?
Absolutely. Ray, can I take this?
Yeah, please.
Absolutely, we're working behind the scenes. We had another piece that we were producing together that we did a reading of called Sherlock Carol right before everything shut down. And coincidentally, we got our biggest hits both on COMRADE and on Sherlock Carol, and our biggest money interests in producing them just as the doors were closing. So it is a matter of maintaining those relationships right now and making sure that people are still interested. And when the curtains open up again, that we hit the ground running. And basically once a day, Ray and I will get together and discuss what might be the possible move going forward, depending on what it looks like in the world out there. With COMRADE, we're very interested in developing it in a regional theater right now. We think that's where it should be. And we had a lot of interest in that from the Studio 54 readings, a couple people who were very interested in that and giving us places to nurture it there. And we think that should be the way to go. And we also got some, frankly, some money interest that we can use for incentive, what do you call it? Not incentive money, enhancement money, thank you. As we take it out to regionals and then bring it back to New York that way. Sherlock is interesting because it's a holiday piece. So if we don't open up before the holidays, we'll just continue developing and be ready for when the holidays come that we are ready for.
It's actually, you know, so much of
go ahead.
It's like this. It's like the graceful swan, but the feet underneath are going like crazy. So you see a show and it just seems like it's sailed into the theater, but there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into planning and raising, you know, the money and getting the crew together and everything, thinking through every last detail about how you're going to launch it and present it and stuff. So there's no shortage really of work for us to do on any of the pieces that we have. Drew is a writer as well. I'm writing new pieces with my collaborators, and so we're actually just doing all the work that we would have been doing between, you know, shows or you know, on the train on the way back from from performances. But we're able to really focus on that stuff, and it's fun. Actually, it's for me, it's like learning a new career, because I was never a producer guy. I never really thought about these things. I would get hired and somebody else would be doing all of that. So, but I've always loved, and I think Drew too, you know, the reason we do these readings is because we love the early part of the development of a piece, like to get a new story right in front of a bunch of just a small audience, is 40 people, 50 people, 100 people, is so much fun. It's so exciting. So so we were always around it, and I think that kind of got us hooked on the idea of just, well, how do you bring it out? What's the next stage, right?
Yeah, and I would say too, the creative buzz that you get, like when you're at a reading and you're like, you can trace it back to like the first conversation that you had where you said, hey, this would be a good idea. Why don't we call what's his name? You know, and then you see it just grow from that until there's a point where there's a bunch of people in a room. You know, when we were doing this 54 Below, between our publicist and everything else, we counted up, we had over 20 people, you know, who were infected by these ideas and going and taking it forward. And you're like, oh, the power of saying something's going to happen and then making it happen is, I find, very, very satisfying. and
Very.
Well,
I mean, it's creation, really. It's the same as writing something. So
yeah.
No, it's like manifesting, like, you know, you manifest your own, oh, this is weird, manifest destiny, you manifest your own destiny. You make it happen. You know, I had someone say to me, oh, I don't believe that you can do anything you want. I can't play the violin. And I looked at her, I said, well, you don't really want to.
Right.
That's why you can't do it. But if you really wanted to play the violin, you would absolutely be able to play the violin.
Absolutely.
So Danny, do you have a question?
I was just gonna say, for our listeners, is there any anywhere out there right now that they can get any information on COMRADE? Is there any links out there, any video footage that they can check out?
you know, you should check out our Instagram page. Do you have those addresses handy where people can find us?
What's his
But
name?
basically, if you search Comrade, what's his name,
That's what it's doing.
you'll find our Instagram, you'll find our Twitter, and you'll find our Facebook page. And we routinely post videos from the 54 event or our trailer, which is out there, other all kinds of things. So that's about Comrade, what's his name, which is, you know, despite its grim kind of origins and what happened to the author, it really is very funny, and it's deeply satisfying to kind of stick it to idiotic figures who try and control our lives. So I think for some reason, I couldn't tell you why, it seems more relevant than ever now.
Huh.
And the kind of crackly response we get from audiences tells you something. So I think it's worth trying to find on our Instagram and social media pages.
Yeah, and we also have a website where you can listen to the score, watch the trailer, meet all.
Yeah,
the-
I've heard it. It is actually, I don't want to say charming, but it is. It's like, it's not what you expect, because when you, I love how it counters what you think it's going to be. I think that's what makes it so enjoyable, because life, I think it abandons what I learned from a great teacher was never go for the expected. She goes, always choose the other side, which is what I tell my students now. Don't go for the obvious emotion. Don't go for what they think you're going to do. And I think that's what I loved about the music, because I definitely dove in as soon as Drew was posting about it. And we need to be able to laugh at stuff that bothers us and makes us angry. And I think that's what I love about this show is we are living in it. It's very present right now. I think we're going to be living like this for a long time, and our children's children. This stuff is never going to go away, you know. And you said the play's from what, 1928? Is that what you said, Raymond?
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on. I mean, 1928. It's like history just constantly, and it doesn't matter from where. And I think timing for your show, especially when we get out of this, because people are we're all watching, and I laugh, but I'm doing the same thing. We're all watching boxes on our TV, right? We're all watching these boxes, people sing, and it's wonderful. I love it. I mean, we need it. But when we're out of this, people are gonna want new content, new material, because their life experience is different now. I'm changed. I'm a changed person.
And I think too, you know, you mentioned the development process, and it's so true. When you're able to be a part of a development process, whether it's a new play or new musical, even as just an audience member, it really is so exciting to have that opportunity. So, I mean, I really encourage people to go to your Instagram, look at these videos, because I always think it's exciting. I know for Lauren as well, whenever we get to witness something like that, see those beginnings and then see it come full circle, and just I just think it's always an excitement to see that development process. So have you been connecting with your fellow colleagues, you know, besides the two of you working together, just in terms of how they're doing during this time, you know, because you're in New York, what that experience is like?
Yes, I have, yeah. It seems like I get an invitation. Actually, oddly, I have had more contact with people from past productions than I would normally, because there's such a great need to have reunions. So, you know, I go back to Broadway with the Heidi Chronicles. We did a live streamed reading of the play with Seth Rudinski, like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. There's a Titanic reunion tonight.
Yes.
a Mary Poppins reunion happening down in Atlanta. You know, these things are happening all the time, and more so, I think, than they would normally do. I think back to Lauren's point before about we're looking at the boxes and everything. What I really find fascinating about the Zoom stuff and everything else is yeah, we can all get together still, but you know, the thing we can't do is sing in unison. We can't talk when you get together, and that's odd and ironic because that's what you can do in the theater is you can let your heart sing together. You can let your voices sing together. You can let your hearts beat together, and we're still in, it's like so tantalizing because the technology makes us want to think that maybe we can overcome it and create new theater this way that'll replace that. But I think there's nothing like being in the room together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a great example when your voices are blending together, whether it's in a play or a musical. Those vibrations are just in the air. They're completely acoustic, right? They go from the vibrations in your throat to the vibrations in the person's ear. So, and the audience's hearts beat together. There are studies that show that, which is really kind of no surprise. And there's no substitute for it. I'm having reunions too with the Chicago cast, and I'm in touch with a lot of members of Once, the musical, which I did for a year.
Yeah.
And it's like Drew says, it's nice because we kind of wouldn't meet that way, you know. So I think it's the whole experience for everybody has turned up the importance of connecting. Right? So.
Yeah, it's surreal, right? It's like this bizarre. We do family Zooms. So my aunt passed away during this whole entire thing, and it's weird because she went to the hospital, and we never heard from her, saw her again. I mean, it's like the most bizarre thing, and of course, you know, your mind goes all over the place with it. So we get together with our family like once a week just to kind of check in what's going on. And it's exhausting because, like you said, Drew, we're tricking ourselves into thinking that this is great. This is so we're working very hard on making this seem real, but we're not getting that essence from each other. I'm not getting that energy. We're not getting smells and vibrations from each other.
What if I got closer? This help?
You know, I mean, we're trying, and you know, I'm teaching on Zoom, and the one-on-one is fine. But let me tell you, teaching like a full class of acting students is, I mean, and they're great. I mean, they're wonderful, and they're cute. They log on, and they all look like, you know, like they've been in their rooms all day.
Yeah,
but it's interesting.
That the new catchphrase going forward will be mute yourself.
Yeah.
That's going to be on a t-shirt.
Or can I mute you? That's it. I'm going to market that. That's my $1 million idea. My dad is finally on social media. He resisted forever. And I was like, Dad, you are going to get left behind in this new world if you don't keep up. So he got on it, him and my stepmom. But he's so funny on Zoom. We'll be on with 12 of us. And he thinks you're only talking to him. So I'm like muting him as he's talking because I'm like, Dad, you need to raise your hand. You can't just talk. But you know, he's like, this is exhausting. I'm like, I know.
It is. Oh. What are you guys, so besides, you know, collaborating and just working on projects, what are you doing for fun? Lauren and I always like to share what we're binge watching. Like, what's your quarantine routine? I don't know.
I have an 11-year-old daughter, and I do not know how people. You know, I live upstate a little bit. We've got a little more space, and but if you're trapped in a studio apartment with a 5-year-old, that's very different than what I'm experiencing, and I can imagine. Maybe I can't imagine how challenging that must be to try and bring a 7-year-old through school online. But my daughter, she's like, oh, Dad, I've got a meeting in 5 minutes. I'll take my lunch at my desk today. So she's totally self-sufficient and just loves it. And so she goes off and does her thing. My wife was just teaching some students, acting students down below on her Zoom thing. And I'm up here with you guys. But then we get together and we watch at the end of the night. She's totally into comedians in cars getting coffee, even though she doesn't know most of the comedians.
So
But
great.
oh, it's so fun, and it just takes your mind off everything. And there's a lot of brilliant comedians out there. So yeah, we're kind of binging on that. We watched all of the Back to the Future movies. That was, I'm introducing her to some of the movies of my wayward youth. And I imagine it's not much different than it is for everybody else who's stuck at home and healthy. I know that it can be really, really hard for some people whose loved ones are ill or who are ill themselves or taking care of people. So I don't mean to make light of any of that, but I'm trying also to enjoy what there is to enjoy, and that means not feeling too bad when I actually find a funny show or get to do something like this and enjoy my house, enjoy time with my wife and kid. So
No, I agree. I think it's, and Drew, I want to get to you in a second. It's a weird mix because I'm on the go. I'm either in a rehearsal, or I'm schlepping the kids somewhere, or I'm in a show, or I'm filming a movie, or I'm doing something, doing this talk show. And now I'm home and I'm kind of like, and I live in New Jersey. So I have a little bit of property. It's an urban town, but I have a backyard, and I'm kind of like, I go for a run once a day, and I'm like, I kind of love my house.
yeah, that's kind of nice,
I
actually.
don't even know. I don't know.
It's a staycation for some people, and maybe it's okay.
I walk on my porch, I wave. If someone walks by, I'm like that woman. I'm like, hi. And then I go back in. That's going to be my life. I'm going to be like Mae West, giving everyone like a little show every once in a while.
Yeah, Mae West.
Yeah.
Mae West. I should bring her. Drew, what do you, now Drew, you have, what are you doing besides being an amazing chef?
Yeah, we do a lot of cooking. Well, I do have the 5-year-old. We're not quite apartment, but we're in 2-bedroom in Brooklyn Heights, and it's that does present its climb the wall issues, and we're lucky enough that there's another apartment that my in-laws have, that's where I am right now, just down the street, where we have a tiny little escape capsule we can use, where I can come over here and get my writing assignments done or meditate or whatever, just have a closed space for a little while, which is the equivalent of having an upstairs or a downstairs right now, I guess, for us. We, have just become extraordinarily ritualized. We cling to the schedule we've set up, and it sort of works. Alice, has Zoom classes in the morning and checks in because she's in kindergarten. So they all have like morning meeting, and then we have tons of assignments that we have to do around with her all day. When I'm done here, we have to do a scavenger hunt where we find different numbers of different objects, different colors around the neighborhood and things like that. So we'll put on our masks and go find them. I go for a run every day. I have to now. It just keeps me sane because I, prided myself on my get up and go energy and moving, in between projects, making projects and everything else. And when that didn't happen, I had a couple of days of panic. It's like, well, who am I if I don't have 7 things going on in the city at every moment, So that takes some adjustment. We're working our way at 5 o'clock. We watch Project Runway, and we're working our way back through the series. Tonight will be the first time that Tim Gunn comes back. We've been with Christian, so
Yeah.
Thank you.
and then we'll get to Alice to bed, and depending on how long that takes and what level of exhaustion we are, Margaret and I will watch a movie, and then she'll crash, and then I can't resist, like around 10 o'clock, 10:30, having like a couple of hours where I can do late writing or something else, and I'll probably wind up staying up too late and then not sleeping enough, because it all starts again too early. Yeah, my body still craves a theater schedule. It still wants to like be done with work at 11 and not go to sleep until 1. That's just how I'm built. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed early tonight. I'm gonna go to bed at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm so, and I'm laying there and I'm like, why can't I fall asleep? And I'm just like, forget it. You know what? It's because I think even though I am running once a day, I don't have all that other energy that exhausts me throughout the day. So I lay there wide awake, and I have a teenager. So I have 3 here. And you know what? They're self-sufficient, Raymond. Just like Drew, I know you have to help Alice because she's so young, but they get up in the morning without me now. They log on to their school. I'm like, I'll be down in a minute.
I don't even have to drive her to, yeah, I don't have to drive her just to the building. So I just, why get up?
Yeah. This, I come down. It's weird. And I know we're going to get over this, but it's like this sounds like, ooh, but like the vibration that's going down right now, it's like, you know, I'm trying not to add to the, I don't want to say negativity, but to the, I guess like of it, but some days, man, it just really gets to me.
Sure.
I think that's part of the transitional, you know, period. The world was just thrown rapidly into a gear that it's maybe never quite been in the same way. There have been plagues, but there hasn't been such connectivity around the entire globe. We're at war with a virus, and for the first time, not another country. Like it's not the people, although there are some people whose attitudes maybe are difficult. But you know, it's a kind of potentially very unifying event. And what I was thinking recently was, you know, with climate change, people would say, like, we need to have, in order to address this, we need to have a World War II style mobilization where everybody comes together and it's going to be a, you know, Rosie the River, everybody participates and we're going to change things and we're going to do that. And nobody knew what that meant, really, in their bones. Like the people who lived through it and know what it means, some of them are still around, most of them aren't. But now we all have it. We just say it's a COVID style mobilization that we need to have to address this huge global problem. So I think, you know, and the fact that young people were already tuned into the need to change a lot of these old attitudes means that this gear shift can actually really be a genuinely good thing. It might take a long time, and there will always be, like my show is still relevant, there will always be problems with greed and hatred and just plain ignorance and stupidity. But I do think it's about tilting the balance of the people who are aware of it and ready to challenge that. And I think we might be able to turn the culture in a way that it needs to be turned. And that's one reason I'm seriously excited that Drew and I are creating new stories, you know, or fostering new stories with our production company. And it just reminds, I think it's been reminding all of us the importance of the arts. Like people, you know, you turn to it, you say, I need comedy right now, I desperately need it, or I need this song, right? Or listen to Brian Stokes Mitchell out on the streets singing, you know, for everyone. It's all of that stuff suddenly means 4 times as much as it might have otherwise, or 10. So I do have great hope, and I think it's also inspirational for Drew and I to keep going and creating these things and to try and be funnier and better and more, you know, tell more gripping stories than ever before.
I feel like it's the most blessed time to be an artist, because I am grateful that as much as we're not all working like we would like to be, the way our brains work, we'll figure it out. Yeah. We'll make it work. It might not be exactly how we want it, but we'll figure out a way. I mean, look how quickly, look at Zoom, social distancing. Look how quickly all these words are in our vernacular now that were never there, but don't they feel like they've been there forever? And they're never going anywhere. These are all new words. Mm-hmm. So as artists, we can, I think because we're so tapped in deeper than a majority of people, that we're able to figure out a way to create. And quite honestly, can you imagine we didn't have TV, music, books, libraries? I've been doing virtual tours of museums. Can you imagine we had none of that?
Yeah.
You know?
And we're fortunate too as artists to be able to still be able to create and bring our work to people and you know, we have a platform like this that we're able to do that. I think it's we're fortunate, and also it's pretty incredible just seeing how the artist community just jumped in and just started just creating and sharing, you know.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I know the financial challenges for artists and for anybody in the arts at all, really, and across the board, but for artists were particularly challenged to begin with because you know, the pay scales are different for artists than they are for hedge fund managers. And I think that is something to remember through all of this. You know, it may be pretty easy for me, who's had a job for a long time, whose wife has had jobs, but a lot of people are wondering, really wondering, or they're living for the unemployment check right now. And what happens, you know, like how close we were to not having a paycheck, or not, you know, certainly not having healthcare, any of that stuff. So to somehow bear in mind that our stories have to address this some way, maybe directly, maybe indirectly, but our stories need to be about taking care of each other, taking, you know, having what is society? Like, a lot of people just forget what that means. It means, yeah, maybe you give up some freedoms, but for the greater good. And a lot of these lessons have been lost a little bit. So it's nice to know that we can have a story like Glorious Death of I had to check his t-shirt, Glorious Death of Comrade, what's his name?
I want a t-shirt. How do I get one?
Okay, let's make that happen.
I will wear I love swag. I love band and show
She does love swag.
I love swag, and I wear them with pride. No, I agree with you, and I think I don't know. It's going to be it's interesting, but I'm loving seeing all these actors raising money, getting together. We just watched the that thing you do last Friday. No, was it Friday or Saturday? Friday night. So much fun. The original cast, and then you watch. They tell you when to watch the movie. They talk the whole time though, which is like a little annoying. They talk during the whole movie, but
Really,
my family does the same thing when we watch.
I think I do the same thing, but it was just fun. And for, like you said, Drew, you meet with your friends, Raymond, you're going to meet with it takes you out for a minute. But Drew, I want to tell you, so I started a artist meetup group. My intention was for us to meet in person at my coffee shop and kind of like introduce all my friends to each other so they can network. And well, lo and behold, the lockdown happened and this group has flourished. So every Saturday night we read a play, and we're reading Front Page actually on Saturday night.
Oh, cool.
The Front Page, yes. But it's like, we're not charging. It's like, and we get dressed up too. We wear costumes.
Interesting.
Oh, that's super fun. How fun is that?
Yeah, it's like you have to find something.
Hardcore.
Yeah, we are hardcore. Well, you know why? Because for a while, I'm sure we all agree, were we getting dressed? We were all like just going in like sweatpants. So my thing is, from a mental health standpoint, I want to give people a reason to get dressed or feel, because it does help. Because the first night we read Our Town, it was like the first night that we were like week one on lockdown. And what we do is we cast it 3 times so we can include more people. And it's actually kind of fun. So every time the act changes, it's a different actor. And it just includes more people, and they have a cocktail, and it's really just for kind of, being together. Yeah. So yeah, we're doing the Front Page on Saturday.
That's a great idea. I can imagine families doing that. I can imagine just old college buddies getting together and doing that kind of thing. That's brilliant. Yeah,
and there's people that are just watching the reading too. They look forward to it. So yeah.
We do sound effects. It's like a radio play. It's fun. So yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, the Front Page. So we're doing that. I already have my costume picked out.
Yeah. Seems really interesting because it's kind of the perfect mix of old-timey Victorian parlor games with new technology. It's what people used to do, come together to entertain themselves, play instruments or sing songs or read plays or read out loud. And those things are coming back in a way that's very, very strong as a result of this. What kind of tailing on what Ray was talking about too, somebody said the other day, it's sort of like Mother Nature has slapped us and told us to go in the corner
Yeah.
and think about what we've done for a while. And we can come out when we figure out a way to do it better. And it's like all the lessons that are appearing all over the place, you know, regarding the environment and climate and everything else, when we see how quickly it rebounds and how much better it looks, all of a sudden the skies over Los Angeles and the canals in Venice are clear. And, you know, it's, you know, I'm sure the ice caps have gone, oh, you know, just a little bit come back because of the daily toll that we've all been putting out there that we've been, you know, doing. So I'm very excited too for the lessons that are going to be there going forward. And yeah, I'm also thinking I have a 15-year-old boy who lives up in Washington Heights, and he and I get together regularly and have world history lessons that he teaches me. And we were discussing the other day Neolithic cave paintings, which go back 30,000 years. This is what folks have been doing the whole time, is they get together and they show how good they can paint something, and then they talk about it and tell a story and sit around the fire.
They sit in a dark room and watch the wall. This is what we do at movie theaters or in our house.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I truly believe that artistic expression and the theater especially is inherent in human nature. We do it all the time. You do it. People who say they don't are lying. When they meet at the water cooler, they tell the story of what happened last night and they act it out. And they, you know, story is a commodity, and the ways of telling it are always going to be like food to us. And those of us who have learned how to do it have to do it. We don't have a choice, despite our circumstances, you know. So,
well, it's like you said, theater is life. I mean, it's not from like, I mean, it really, and that's what I tell my students, just be honest. Just be honest, because theater is life. That's what it is. And I love how you brought up, I guess, Raymond, you had said it first, how Mother Nature is like grounding us. Because I equate it to like Mother Nature took her purse, dumped it out, and is shaking out all the crumbs and exposing all the dirt and the garbage that we kind of accepted and just left at the bottom of our bag because we were just ignoring it. Yeah. But now it's being exposed. This is the dirt, the crumbs, the garbage, and we're learning a lot more. And I love how you brought up, because I always say it's like we're in this weird. We're spinning on this weird axis where we're all learning like old timey stuff. Like I'm baking bread. Like who am I?
Like a character in you brought up Our Town. You know, and it's 9 a.m. It's time for milking, and then you go and you take your laundry out by the, you know, it's a brilliant play, but definitely feel much more of that kind of life. Like you said, you're clinging to your routines.
Yeah.
And those routines turn out to be: I've got to do the laundry, I've got to do the dishes, we've got to make the next meal, we've got to gather the food, we've got to, you know, clean up after ourselves. It's all the same.
Yeah, I'm impressed with how humans, how we are. I mean, I'm like, wow, we are actually as shitty as we can be. At times, we're also pretty amazing in how we're like, most of us are jumping into the survival. So a lot of people are making like garden beds in their, I mean, it's so cool. So we're like learning all these like old fashioned skills, but then we're also learning mad technology too at the same time.
Yeah.
So
it's still the vast majority of people. It's still the vast majority of people who are on the side of what we're talking about, moving forward, being more kind, even more kind to each other, doing less damage. So I'm encouraged by that as well.
Yeah.
So what's the one thing that you're going to want to do once this is all over? There's no social distancing. You don't have to wear a mask. Like, what's the one thing that you're just like, I can't wait to do that?
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into Manhattan, meet Ray, have some dinner, and plot. I can't
Yes.
Really?
I want to be a fly on the wall for that one.
We'll get you a seat at the next table, and you can wear big glasses.
Yeah,
sunglasses.
I'll be watching. No, I was really upset that I didn't go to 4 Below, but I'm coming to the next one.
Good.
Definitely.
What about
more soon?
What about you, Raymond? What's the one thing you're?
Yeah, you know, to do a show and then to go out afterwards Still my favorite thing. Still my favorite things.
Mm.
Be in a room with, to go watch a show, you know, just to be in that big room with 2,000 people or 100 or whatever it is, and then go out afterwards. Whether I was in the show or watching it, I don't care. It's just that let's all gather around a stage and then let's go and communicate privately with each other afterwards. I just can't wait.
Cool.
What about you, Danny?
Yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I mean, just be back in the theater, and whether you're on stage or in the audience, and doing it comfortably, not, you know, just that's when you sit there as an audience member and you watch a show, it's like, it's our church, right? You just sit there and you go to a place, and I feel that now you're sitting there with all these thoughts in your head. So I mean, just to sit there and to slip away into that world and not have all these outside forces trying to come in, I think is what I'm looking forward to. And hugging people.
Yeah, just being like not 6 feet apart. I mean, I tend to, like, when I do go out, I'm like 24 feet apart. Like, someone comes, I'm like running around the next block and I feel bad about it, but it's I think just because we don't know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to communing with people, creating with people, absorbing their energy, me giving them mine back, having those that's the stuff that I miss. I like the people that I'm quarantined with, but I'm not trying to brag, but I was able to ignore my entire family on Friday in quarantine.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know, no contact. I think they were ignoring me too, though. So maybe it was.
I'm sure that they enjoyed it.
Oh, but yeah, I'm definitely, you know, if there's a saying, you are missing from me. And that's how I feel about everyone. I feel like my friends, my colleagues, they are missing from me. And that's what's hard.
Yeah, you're right. Those are going to be some intense performances when we finally have theater again. People are
Yeah.
nuts to be there. I mean, it's hard to imagine right now feeling safe and secure enough to be in a room full of people that you could just let loose and enjoy a play. But we'll get back there, I guess. But man, that's going to be intense.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You know what I'm curious to know too?
Herd immunity and all of that stuff is on its way, so we gotta just be patient, but
Yeah.
And keep doing the right thing. But yeah, man, it'll happen, and then we'll be in a room like that.
Well, you know, it's going to be interesting because, like, you know, Drew, you're quarantined like in the heart of it. We are too, you know, New Jersey, I think, where you are too. And your life experience now just skyrocketed because this is a history making thing that we're living through. Like, Alice is going to learn about this. Your daughter's, you know, going to learn about, you know, this is not going, you know, anywhere. So I'm not that I think performances are going to be changed. You're not going to change the way you do something, but I think what your intention is, what you bring to it, I think is going to be interesting because we're in a major shift and there's just no way you can't evolve from this.
There's no way. You know, talking about World War II again, obviously the entire generation of the entire world was utterly, well, traumatized, but changed and deeply, and in many ways for the better, actually. Many ways not, I'm sure, but you know, they were called the greatest generation by some, and there's no way, I'm not going to equate this with that necessarily, but it's massive, and there's no way that we aren't going to be a new generation, a new wave of awareness. There's just no way.
No, but I'm excited for new content. I'm excited for your show. So our listeners should go find COMRADE. What's his name on the Facebook? On I know I follow you on Insta. Are you on the Twitter?
We are on the Twitter.
On the Twitter.
Yes.
On the Twitter. Go to the website. Send me a T-shirt. Woo, you know what? I'm not being tongue in cheek, but we got to have a little levity. Do you think that there's going to be like mask swag coming out?
Interesting. I hope not.
I don't know if you'll make money on that. I know. I hope the mask thing does. But, you know, I'm getting all ads in my news feed for like these fancy masks now. I'm like,
right.
I think we have to start that up this afternoon, actually. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, really.
I love discussing it.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. You definitely have to check out the music. I regret not seeing it when I had intended to, but timing is everything, right? Is that what we say in theater and film? And your show is going to come when the timing is 100% right, and when we need it as an audience.
I think so too. I'm looking down at my phone right now. This is a cardinal sin, but I'm doing it to find the exact website because I know
No, good. That's fine.
it can not sometimes be easy to find.
Laureus.com or something like that.
It's simply Comrade What's His Name, all one word, comradewhat'shisname.com. Go there.
What's his name.com.
Awesome.
Thank you
Guys,
so much.
I just want to do a quick picture, so you know, if you don't mind. There we go. I love it. Yes, show your shirt. Ready? Smile. Good. This was cool.
Oh,
Ah.
and she just fell over.
Is she
I
okay?
fell over.
Yes.
And I said shit. They're gonna anyway.
You said shit
guys,
before
so
too.
fun. I know. They're gonna censor me. Facebook hates me sometimes. Danny knows. So anyway, guys, I really appreciate you doing this. I know we're all kind of day by day doing our ritualistic, like Drew said, stuff. Ooh, but we're gonna be back. We're gonna be better than ever. The world is gonna realize, if they haven't already, why they need us. And I know we're gonna come back better than ever. I know we're gonna be better. Just, any type of growth or change is uncomfortable. I mean, that's how it has to be. I can't imagine a caterpillar is comfortable when it turns into mush and then becomes a butterfly. I don't know. It's just, that's what happens. It turns into like goo, and then it's. Listen, I've been locked in the house for 6 years. All right.
Well, you and Candor and Ed both have it. Listen to the story of the butterfly. They know.
Yeah.
Good company.
No, I look forward to it. Definitely keep me posted. Danny, do you want to say anything?
Just, thank you so much for coming on and joining us. This is, really special for us to be able to talk to you about your projects and just share this with our listeners. So, so thank you again for taking time and keep writing. And as Lauren said, we look forward to seeing COMRADE in its new form once we can come out of the caves that we're in.
Yeah, man, it's gonna rock.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And I'll see you on the interwebs. Where else are we going?
Thank you. Great talk.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
That was so fun. I could
Yeah, that
talk
was
forever.
fun.
I always have like a heart attack, that
That's
before
my
like
life. Oh God.
I'm always like Danny, I'm like the check part. I need a person here. And you're like, I don't know why, it's the one thing since we started this show, the tech stuff is
Oh,
the
yeah.
one thing that keeps me out.
From day one, you haven't changed.
I'm authentic. I suck at tech. No, I'm
And
actually
even-
doing pretty good.
But listen, even if you had somebody there, you would still be like, ah.
I know. It's like, you know what it is? It's like, it's when because I want to be fully present when I'm talking to people. And I just never want to be distracted worrying about, is my mic too hot? All that stuff.
Yeah.
That was so fun. Yeah. You should definitely check out the music. It is really fantastic. It's, I hate to say, I feel like I use the word brilliant a lot, but it really is like, now that you've spoken to them and you know what the story's about, then you hear the music, it's going to be like, it's mind blowing.
And I love the title.
I know, I do too. And it was funny because I know it, and then I get like a little camera shy because as soon as I'm like, I forgot the
There's a
name.
lot going on. I mean, like, with the whole Zoom thing, and it's, it makes sense. Thank goodness Drew was wearing a t-shirt.
I was like, oh my gosh. I just went like, my brain just went like, I haven't had enough coffee. I haven't had my Booten coffee today.
I know. Oh my God.
And it delivered me beans.
You got your beans. I'm just excited that we have this opportunity. This is like a nice break from my desk, my makeshift desk.
Yeah.
I was like chatting with Lori, and then I was like, all right, I'll be back at 2. I was like, going to do the radio show. Bye.
Is she tuning in, Miss Lori? I still want to direct you guys as Thenardier and Madame Thenardier. I think that would still be so fun.
Oh yeah, that would be fun, and she would totally do it.
So are you, we're not cooking tonight. I said we're gonna order in. I've been cooking so much. Like I said, I think that's why my appetite is a little, oh, I didn't get to talk about Drew about cooking. He's such a great chef.
I've been like ordering in. I've been doing like once a week, usually like Saturdays, just to like, support, you know, local businesses and stuff like that. So I've been craving pizza. I want some pizza.
Ooh, yeah, we made homemade pizza. When did we make homemade pizza?
Oh, it's so funny because I got pizza dough from Pampered Chef because I want to make a pizza.
Oh, I wanted to tell you, I couldn't post the chips on your page. I don't know if I'm on the wrong page, but the chips came out good. I'm actually happy to have my Pampered.
Send me a photo of it. They did look good. They looked nice and crunchy.
Yeah, I had to remember. I had to remember how to do them, but we had fun doing it. I mean, trying to think of stuff to do with the kids. I mean, I'll tell you, there are some days I suck as a parent. I totally admit it. I just have not one creative bone left in my body, and I'm like, my kids are like running amok. It's like,
but I think you're not the only one.
No, I know, and I'm not beating myself up about it because now that this is going on, you know, this is going to go on for obviously longer than we initially thought. I'm just kind of like, and I talked to my sister about it yesterday, and I said, listen, there are days when you're going to want to get up and do stuff, and trust me, Danny, there are days when I sit on the couch and I just can't get up. But that's why I do try and do the running once a day because I feel like at least it gives me an endorphin.
I've noticed that Mondays have been really tough for me. And I don't know if it's because it's like work week kind of begins. But I noticed that like Mondays, I'm just very like unproductive and I'm just like staring at my screen and just trying to figure out like what I want to do. And then I get going kind of thing. But it's that Monday.
Yeah, I think
it's just funny because Mondays tend to be blah to begin with, even when you are not in quarantine, you know, it's the start of the week, but for some reason it's like, it's just, I don't know. It's like it's ups and downs, which I feel like everybody's kind of.
Yeah, and I think I just have been on that post I made yesterday that you were like, Lauren, I can't believe you made that public. My one friend, and I've known him actually for a long time because our girls were in pre-K together. He was like, you know, I just worry about the future. I go, listen, I don't think any of us don't worry about the future, but I can't live that far ahead in the future. Right now, my focus is on like figuring out this virus. You know what I mean? And then the economy, no one's saying they don't care about the economy, you know, but he was like, no, you're right. I go, listen, I do a lot of self-work on a daily basis, meditation, that I could actually be fully present and not get too far ahead into the future. Because I know that my personality is if I start to think too far ahead, my brain just goes, and it just totally, I lose control. You know, I'll lose control. So there are days when I just give in to the lethargy of it all, and I laze around, and that's just how it is. And I don't apologize. And that's just how it's going to be until we're back, you know, spinning at a normal speed.
Yeah, I just think that it's, you know, I applaud our state on how it's being handled. And I think that, you know, I kind of get frustrated when I see what other states are doing because I feel like they're not where we are. They're not in the epicenter. So they have no idea of what it's like, you know, and.
Do you think I saw a great post that's like, we're in the same storm, but we're not all in the same ship.
Yeah.
And I find it's hard to be united when we're really not. But then like, what's the answer? I don't even know what the answer is. You know what I mean? Like, what is the answer to this?
I mean, like, you know, not to get political, but we need government support. We just need, you know, and I mean, and I get the economy and how the effects it will have on people mentally, you know, and how that's just as crucial as what's going on, but we have to save people. I mean, you know, and take that risk. You can't let people die just because you're concerned about the economy. I'm sorry. That's
I'm not sacrificing my father.
We are the United States of America. I think we can take care of our people, and they just need to step up and do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to sacrifice my father or my
Unfortunately,
mother.
it's very much divided and political. It's not about American citizens. It's about people's wallets. And I'm just like,
We become cold. It's become
you know,
cold.
and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people that aren't working, which sucks, and they need support. And there's a lot of businesses that are making a ton of money right now. So they need to step up and show their support. I mean, hello, if you own a supermarket or if you are owning any of these products that people need, they are making a lot of money.
And listen, I will never apologize for being an artist, and I will never apologize for because I am a businesswoman. I mean, you know, we talk all the time. I mean, you know how I am. But when it comes to human life, life is precious. And maybe it's because of my life experience with death and everything. Maybe this is why I view the world as I do. I will not apologize for thinking the way that I think, for maybe being more sensitive.
And I don't think any artist should feel anything. I think this, you know, it's funny how you mentioned like social distancing and Zoom, and it's like in our vernacular. I mean, essential, the word essential, it's always been there, but it's like, what is essential? Everyone is essential. Everything is essential. Okay. And we're non-essential as artists, but those people who are at home and their mental health is at stake and they turn to, you know, an art form, that right there is essential to their well-being.
Oh yeah, even these Zoom concerts. I mean, we watched the other night. Oh my God, I was like the Rolling Stones. That was so fantastic. Yeah. And Lady Gaga and all that stuff. I mean, those are artists. Like,
I watched the Jersey for Jersey last night.
No, I missed that last night. I don't know why.
It was quick. It was like an hour long.
Yeah, it wasn't long, right?
It wasn't long. It was like an hour.
I do want to talk to you about something because I did message Bob, and we can wrap this up, and I want to talk to you about it up there because I think I would really like to implement something, and I want to do it sooner than later, and I want to kind of pick your brain. We've talked about it before. Sorry, audience.
Yeah.
Who's listening or who will be watching later.
Let's wrap this up.
So we're going to be back next week. Who's our guest? We don't know. I have some irons in the fire, but you know, I'm not going to let you know until the day before. So you got to go follow Chew the Scene. Go follow my page, Lomo. By the way, did you notice all the name changes I did on social media, Danny?
I did notice that, Lauren Moran.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to think. Whatever, right? I mean, what else am I doing here? But I changed. Yeah, I was able to change my name on my professional page. Go follow the growing stage. Go support these outlets, which we want to be there when we get to the other side. And now's the perfect time. If you can't support that monetarily, which we understand, give it a like, give something a share. You know, spread the word if these organizations are doing things.
Share it with other people you know that might be able to support.
Yeah. I mean, we got to get this great big world back up and spinning again. And it's, you know, we got to help each other out. You know what I say? The reason why we're down here is we're supposed to be helping each other. Some people miss the memo, though.
Yeah.
This was fun, though. This was a great session. This was I really enjoyed it. I'm getting used to the Zooming. Like you are too.
Yes. And thanks again to Raymond and Drew for joining us.
Yeah. And go check out their stuff. COMRADE, what's its name? You will enjoy it. You will feel it. It's really good stuff. It is really good stuff. And we're gonna want new stuff. So we will be back next week. I never know what we're doing. We're figuring it out.
Peace. Bye, everybody.
Peace out. Are we still on Facebook Live?
Yes.
Hold on.
I'm gonna turn my.
I'm gonna end this meeting.